Hello. I'm here to talk about something today. Interesting. An urban legend. Maybe not even an urban legend. A long-standing legend. Have you ever known anybody to be a swindler, a pickpocketer, somebody who's not afraid to trick children, old people, anybody, drunks at the bar, even while being a drunk yourself? Or themselves, rather? This story is about a man so sinister, according to everybody around him anyway, so evil, with zero care given toward any person, place, or thing by which he acquired what he believed was coming to him. He was so evil that Satan himself decided that I gotta meet this guy. I'm a big fan. And I'm going to talk about how that relates to present day jack-o'-lanterns and why we carve them and put a candle inside. How do these two relate? Let's find out. Thanks for joining me. I'm Deej Penhollow, and this is What Came Up, the origin of jack-o'-lanterns.
As the story goes, several centuries ago, amongst myriad towns and villages in Ireland, there lived a drunkard known as Stingy Jack. Jack was known throughout the land as a deceiver, manipulator, and otherwise dreg of society. On a fateful night, Satan overheard the tale of Jack's evil deeds and silver tongue. Unconvinced and envious of the rumors, the devil went to find out for himself whether or not Jack lived up to his vile reputation. Typical of Jack, he was drunk and wandering through the countryside at night when he came upon a body on this cobblestone path. The body with an eerie grimace on his face. It turned out to be Satan himself. Jack realized somberly that this was his end. Satan had finally come to collect his malevolent soul. Jack, however, made one last request. He asked Satan, "Can I please drink some alcohol before I go to hell?" And Satan, finding no reason not to acquiesce to the request, took him to the local pub and supplied him with many alcoholic beverages. Upon quenching his thirst, Jack asked Satan to pay the tab. Satan was surprised. He managed to convince Satan to turn into a silver coin and use that to pay the bar tab. But instead, he stuck the coin into his pocket, which also contained a crucifix. The crucifix's presence kept Satan from escaping this form. This coerced Satan to agree to Jack's demand. In exchange for Satan's freedom, he had to spare Jack's soul for 10 years. Exactly 10 years later to the date, when Jack originally struck this deal, he found himself once again in the presence of Satan. Jack happened upon Satan in the same setting as before and seemingly accepted that it was his time. Time to go to hell for good. As Satan prepared to take him to hell, Jack asked if he could have one apple to feed his starving belly. Foolishly, Satan once again agreed to this request. As Satan climbed up the branches of a nearby apple tree, Jack surrounded its base with crucifixes once again. Satan, frustrated at the fact that he had been entrapped again, demanded his release. And as Jack did before, he made a request that his soul never be taken by Satan into hell. Satan once again agreed, and he was set free. Eventually, the drinking took its toll on Jack. He died the way he lived. After he died, Jack's soul was prepared to enter heaven through the gates. And St. Peter was there, but he stopped. and Jack was told by God that because of his sinful lifestyle and deceitfulness and drinking, that he was not allowed into heaven. Jack then went down to the gates of hell and begged for entry into the hell. Satan, fulfilling his obligation to Jack, could not take his soul. To warn others, he said, "Go back. If you have nowhere else to go, go back." And he said, "But I don't have a light. I can't see my way. Can you please give me something?" He gave Jack an ember, marking him a denizen of the underworld. And Jack didn't have anything to put it in, except for a turnip that he stole from somebody. He hollowed it out and put the light inside the turnip. Doomed to wander the earth with a hollowed out turnip and an ember from hell, he roamed the countryside, and to everybody that would see him, they would say, "There goes Jack of the Lantern," which in Scotland translated to Jack o' Lantern. Everybody these days, modern days, they all carve pumpkins, not to honor this man, but to ward him off or help light his own way away from them. That's why we carve jack-o'-lantern.